A lot of us like games, a lot of us like RPG games, and nearly, or I say every single one of us loves huge open world map games. We just love those games. And if you don't, you're weird. And what happens if you use the story of this one anime manga, which is called One Piece, and give it to a studio who makes an open world RPG game out of it, but stays true to the manga and recaptures everything again, panel by panel, with a huge ass map, with new adventures, with a lot of side quests, and with every so and now and then new things to discover, because this is One Piece. And you get a game like this, an open world RPG game with the story of One Piece. What happens? Yes, exactly. You will never go outside again. You will just be playing forever. And before I go into more detail, my wall self over there is excited as shit and he will take over. It's your turn, wall self.
One eternity later.
Hey guys, Laughtail here, and now today we're gonna talk about some fun topic. The perfect One Piece game that can happen once the story of One Piece is finished completely. And that would be a One Piece open world style game. Yes, a One Piece open world style game would be ridiculous. But the story and the world of One Piece has everything you would want in an open world game. It is so huge, it is so diverse, it has everything, and once you would explore the world of One Piece in an open world type of game, it would be like, holy shit. It would be like the Zelda, Wind Waker type games, but a million times better. I always think with One Piece World Seeker, the studio that created that game had a vision to make an entire open world game for One Piece, because World Seeker is a pretty neat game and it has some amazing features and skill trees and so on and so on, and you can go there and do this and stuff like that, swing with Luffy, fly around with his Gomu Gomu no UFO ability, and you have other playable characters, DLC, but still, it was pretty cool to do that. But now you take that concept and do the entire story of One Piece once the manga has finished. Okay, now I could see some complaints and it's like, hey, how the hell do you want the voice actors to voice this entire thing again? You do not have to let them voice it again. You could literally take the lines from other games and the anime and use them. Use those audio files and render them, put them into the game. It would still work out. I like, for example, Cyber Connect 2, the guys who did the Naruto Ninja Storm games and also Dragon Ball Z Kakarot. They did a pretty good job recapturing every event from the manga of Dragon Ball and putting it into this open world game. So something similar to that, and also of One Piece World Seeker, but a kind of a combination with a lot more RPG elements into it. And this would be the perfect open world One Piece game once the story is over. And very, very important is here that you stay true to the manga, which means you would need to, and I would love to see them recapturing everything from the manga just the way it was in the manga and reanimating. I would even love to play the very first thing in the game is you are being Goldie Roger in cuffs and you are controlling him and you just walk to the plateau where he's getting executed. You're just walking with him and you see the NPCs, how they're reacting, how they're looking at you, and you could even stop with him and then the Marines would be like, hey, go on, you can't stop like this, and then you go with him further the line and then you go up and then You press, I don't know, you're playing this on the PlayStation 6 by then or PlayStation 7 by that time, and then you press X and then you sit down, and then this one guy from the audience is asking, "Hey yo, Roger! Where is the One Piece, oh yo? You can have a list of answers, and the one is like, no, you have a list of options you can press in that moment. One is first laugh, and then click answer him, and this would be pretty neat. Imagine that you just first play Goldie Roger and you recapture that first panel, that first page out of the manga. That would be perfection. I would love that. From there on, you need to go further and you need to show Kid Luffy with Shanks, and then you could have a transition from Roger's execution and the narrator explaining shit and this and that, and then you go, the time passes and we have maybe a cool showcase of different pirates growing up, and then you can show Whitebeard, you can show Shanks, Mihawk, and then you could also show the Marines and some shadowed characters, figures, and those are the Yonko for the very end game of the story when you reach the new world. But before you go there, then it's transitioning and you have the original OST playing, of course, in the game. You need the original songs and the original themes, like Overtaken, the very strongest, Luffy's fierce attack, and so on. So from there on, from Roger's execution, you go into Kid Luffy in his village, and then you see him, you're Kid Luffy, and then you're playing him, and then you go down the street to the bar where Makino and Shanks are, and then you have cutscenes with Shanks and so on, and then Shanks is mocking Luffy, you can't come on my ship, and so on, and then you do little quick time events into this open world game with cutscenes and so on, and then you see Luffy just here, he's like this, and he's like, hey, Shanks is mocking me again, and then he looks at the fruit, at the Gomu Gomu no Mi, and then you have the option, press at it, and if you wait too long, just a little Easter eggs, if you wait too long, he grabs it by himself and eats it, and then then you transition to the next cutscene and so on and so on. Imagine playing as Shanks when you reach Marineford, and then you just need to walk, and then it says press triangle or something like that, and then you get your sword out, and then he does his pretty neat speech like, hey, any of you guys want to fight? Come at us. This would be pretty cool. You could do very crazy stuff with a One Piece open world game done right. But you really need to do this creatively, and you need to be based on the manga with a few things taken from the anime. So, because some things in the anime are done pretty cool, which the manga had 1-2 panels, but the anime did it a bit better. Those are things like the fight with Whitebeard and Akainu. Can you imagine you're playing Whitebeard, you're coming up from the Moby Dick, and then it says, okay, press left and right stick or R2 and L2, and then you do his Gura Gura no Mi, and the earthquakes are happening, and this will be pretty epic to see, right? One Piece open world type RPG game with a shit ton of side quests, please, because we need to level the shit up. And by the scale of the One Piece world and the story, by that time the story will finish with 30 years of content and 1,300, 400 chapters in or something like that for the manga. This would mean if for a game, an RPG open world game, you would need to have something around the lines of up to 500 levels to balance it out somehow. I would be even as crazy as... you remember the time where Luffy met up with Zoro and he recruited him as his first mate, but before that he was in the village and was talking with Kobe and the little girl that gave Zoro the onigiri. I would create all those maps, playable areas, open world game, remember? And then I would put an Easter egg in there, a ridiculous Easter egg which is normally found in MMORPGs, where you are a level 1 character or level 10 character, but with some kind of doorway, secret hidden site there in the below part of the map. You suddenly go away from there. I will do the same in the very beginning of the game, and I will put on that little village where Helmeppo and Zoro is, and Kobe and the little girl and Luffy, and you could play as Luffy. You could go around there left and right, and then you could enter a room, but in a little house where kind of a bar maybe, and then I would put a little hidden room there. When you go through this, you suddenly it goes black the screen because it loads you into a new map, and you suddenly are at Onigashima, and fucking Kaido is in front of you. Could you imagine that? And he sees you, he doesn't know who you are because you're a newbie, and he smacks you out of the way and you're down for good. This would be a freaking huge jump scare because you would be this small, and then you have Kaido in front of you who just smacks you out of the way. This would be dope, to find some little hidden Easter eggs, interiors like that, and just connect it with the lore of One Piece, because the lore, the story, the worlds, the maps of One Piece is so grand. It has so many things, so many stuff. But hey, it's me again, so I will just bump into it. So you've got an idea now what I'm talking about with this type of a One Piece game. An open world One Piece game like this would be crazy, right? And every single one of us would play it. But to give you even more examples, like literally you could do everything with this. If the studio is doing it right and they recapture it panel by panel, you could show us everything. Give us Enies Lobby. I want to use Gear Second the first time with Luffy, and I want him to be charging his Gear Second attack, and then the display says press square right now, and then you do the very first jet pistol against Bluno. Just imagine that, and with the beastly themes playing in the background. Just imagine spamming Jet Gatling at Rob Lucci, and you just spam the hell out of your attack in Gear Second. Imagine you are at the end of Thriller Bark, and then that Florian Triangle monster shadows appear and you see that in-game. Or you're on the way, you want to go to Sky Island, to Skypiea, but before that you remember that scene where the huge ass shadows appeared and the Mugiwaras just hauled ass because they were scared shitless. And then there's this epic scene where they're all just using their ship to get away from there, and you have to press a certain button the entire time to just get away from there. These kind of things would be so ridiculously good. So good. Or go to the early point, show me Kuro, the fight against Captain Kuro. Show me Buggy, I want to Gomu Gomu no Bazooka him away. Yeah, show me the Amazon Lily, show me Boa Hancock and how Luffy had his adventures there, and so on. You get what I'm saying, right? And also you remember the games for the Nintendo Wii, the Unlimited Cruise 1 and Unlimited Cruise 2. Those games were also open world stylish games. You could travel from one island to another island, and you had different boss battles. You could take a lot of elements from that game also into this open world game, because in that Unlimited Cruise One Piece game for the Wii, you had the ability not only to play with every single Straw Hat, but everyone had her special type abilities, and you could also craft things like just like in Minecraft, and it was awesome. You could do advanced abilities, you could do advanced, I don't know, things for hunting, things for swimming. You had Usopp and Frankie, those two created new things, those were the craftsmen at the crew. So you could also use that type of element into this kind of an open world RPG game. If the game is right, everybody on this earth who is a gamer loves open world RPG games. I mean, that is also why games from Rockstar Games, games like Red Dead Redemption 2 and Grand Theft Auto, or in this case, well, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 5, why those games are still to this day the best games in the industry, because they give you this huge ass map freely to roam and to look around and to see what's happening left and right, and you can interact with the map. And very important is also to have a lively map with a huge things going on. It needs to be alive. There needs to be a lot of NPCs who do different stuff, who do have interactions between you. I want to be Luffy or any other Mugiwara on a certain island. I want to be able to switch them if I go around and see what they're up to, what they're doing. Sanji's maybe shopping and I switch to him and I'm at the shopping thing. Then I'm switching to Zoro and he's at the far end of some map and he's just chilling there, and then I switch back to Nami and Robin. They're just going shopping and so on, and you can just walk around and explore things.
It's beautiful! I need
And you can interact with NPCs. You can interact with them and look at what they're doing, and maybe some of them will give you quests, some of them will ask you favors, and if you will you do it, won't you do it? Do you get something out of it or not? And sometimes there are quick time events and sometimes there are random events happening, and then it's your choice. Will you help? Will you not help? Just like also how Red Dead Redemption 2 did those things. So if you could do this into one piece, holy shit. Holy shit. Huge ass explorable One Piece world. You are at Sky Island, you fall down. You're at the marine base, you gotta get out of there. You fight against an admiral out of nowhere because they chased you. These kind of things could happen also. Maybe one of the admirals is behind you and you have to flee. You have to coup the bust away from there. Or you have to fight them head on. That would be awesome. You have to go on training sessions. Show me the time skip. Show me the time skip with Rayleigh. Show me how Rayleigh is teaching Luffy Haki, and then before you do a 2 years time skip with cutscenes, let us be on the island with Luffy and let us train against some monsters. Let us have some boss battles against some monsters and let some days pass and let us do side quests there on the island where it says defeat so and so many monsters to unlock your Haki. Haki basic level, Haki mid level, Haki high level, and then first level, grand level of Haki achieved, and now you go to the second, and then observation Haki, the same thing. Show us these kind of things. They could literally go crazy with this. I mean, could you imagine you're Ace and you're chasing Blackbeard and you have come to that village where Blackbeard with his guy was coming down, and then you're shooting your fire attacks at him. And you have to fight with Blackbeard in that case, and you have this open field area where you can dodge things and destroy stuff left and right. By that time, the console generations could do everything. You could make the map, and you could make the map entire destroyable. Think of this. You would need to include the fights between Roger and Whitebeard and how they clashed. Can you imagine? You are playing as Roger and then it says charge your Haki while Whitebeard is coming at you, and then you can see Whitebeard coming and then a cutscene happens and then you gotta press quick time event and then charging in with the advanced King's Haki attacks left and right, and then you get the huge animations, how the island is vibrating and getting damage and all of that stuff. Perfect. The possibilities would be endless, but if you do it right and if you do certain scenes, if it isn't even the main cast, you can do playable characters for certain scenes, and that would make the game even better.
Oh yeah, it's all coming together.
And of course, open world means you have your ship and you can go from one island to another island, and I would do side quests everywhere. I would like in Skyrim, you have so many side quests, you're like, holy shit, when is this shit ending? It is never ending, right? And you can do the same with One Piece. You could have a side quest from Loketown, and then you are somewhere at Sabaody, and the guy there is like, hey, you know what? I have a good friend at Loketown. Bring him this shit and he will give you something. And then he gives you a map, and then you go on search for a map, and then you can switch to other characters like Usopp or like Frankie, and this map shows you a spot on the ocean and you have to dive in there, search for a chest, and you open it up. Maybe there's money, maybe there's something else, a hint, a new treasure map, and then it says, oh, go to this island, talk to this person, and so on. So you could do a lot of side quests in this to connect the story even more. With this, you would have a main story which is over 100 hours long, maybe 200 hours long, and then you would have the side quests which are equal as long if you do them. So there would be a game you are playing for the next couple of years with discovering new stuff. Kind of like what Rockstar Games did with Red Dead Redemption 2. Until this point today, gamers are still finding new things in that game, and that game has been released in 2018, 4 years ago. So if you do it right, just like Rockstar Games shows love to their games, you would have the perfection of an anime game, of an open world anime game, and One Piece is the best candidate for it. It is like how it is, right? This would be pretty epic to play. You would just be playing this game for months. It wouldn't stop like this. It would be so crazy. Scenes included like how you have to punch Bellamy into oblivion, and Luffy is like, do I know how to throw a punch? Yes, you do. And then you play the scene, and then it says, now press triangle or press circle, and then you punch Bellamy into the bottom. Playable open world game, and the map could be even you could add an Easter egg with Nami. She wants to draw a map of the entire world, right? And through your journey with the game, the entire map of the game gets bigger and bigger, and Nami is drawing the map, and she's showing it to you. And in the menu you can see, oh, we were here, 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 and there. At the end of the day, when you find it, when you find One Piece and it is finished, we still do not know how One Piece will end, but at the end of the day, once the story is over and you've reached that in the game, then it needs to be freely available for you to travel along everywhere you want, and then you could even unlock new type of quests. And with the new way of games functioning, and especially open world games, the producers, the studio who is producing this game could even do things like, hey, this game is now finished, you have done the story, you have done 200 hours of main story, 200 hours of side quests, you have completed the map, you have found this, that, new costumes, new equipment, new abilities, new friends, you gained this and that, you've achieved everything, but it's not finished yet. We give you more content, we get the map bigger, we do new sky islands for you, you can now search for other things in the ocean, you can find new monsters, new types of crews, new storylines with downloadable content. Sure, DLCs, but this way the game can continue and go on and go on and go on, right? Well, with this logic, the one studio who could produce a game like this could even start producing it now, and let's say in 6 and 7 years of time, the One Piece story is in its final chapters before the story has ended. They could release this game and add the finale of One Piece as DLCs. They could also do this if they want to, but I would wait when the story is over, then produce this game, do 5, 6, 7 years, I don't care, but make it perfect. At the end of the day, you would be so OP, you would come back with Luffy to Loguetown or even the first island or his hometown, it doesn't matter, and then you would have mobs and enemies and guys who are there just mocking you, and you just spam one King's Haki wave and you destroy everything in the area. Level 500, bitches. Level 500. Very important would be also having mobs who would be having guys, criminals around there who you need to beat to have experience, of course, just like World Seeker did it. And I really hope that with a label like One Piece, and once the story is over, one game studio comes out there and is like, you know what? We want a perfect open world game for One Piece. We are a good studio, we understand balance, we understand Skilltrees, we understand the lore, we fucking love One Piece to the guts, and we want to do it justice by putting in elements from the anime, but also basing it just on the manga, not only, but on the manga mainly, and recreating this story so you can live through it. This game would be done in such a way that a guy or a girl or person who has never seen One Piece, once playing this game would be like, shit, so this is One Piece, I love this, man. So you kind of get what I'm saying, right? You would need to have at least something around 500 levels, but it needs to be balanced out. And the very important thing is we need a lot of playable characters for certain scenarios, but also the main Mugiwara crew line needs to be playable. Everybody needs to have his own skill tree with his own unique abilities, and the case and the ability of Haki needs to be included very small, because you have to also balance out the Devil Fruit abilities and Haki. I mean, can you imagine? You are playing Luffy at level 450, 430, you are at Onigashima at Roof Peace, fight against Kaido and there's Big Mom, and then you have learned Advanced King's Haki, and this is an ability you can spam a few times and then it is gone and it needs to recharge again. And then you have to always look at your Haki show a limiter if it is full or not, and then you can spam Advanced King's Haki again and your attacks get a power boost. The gear 1, 2, 3rd, 4th forms need to be included wisely in there and how you're using them. I know this would take a shit ton of time. This game would most likely, if it is done right, would most likely take between 5 and maybe 8 to 9 years to produce this. But if the money is right, and if one studio is doing these type of open world games right, and they're investing in it, and Bandai Namco is investing in it, and they say, hey, you know what, here, take this money, but do this game just like this. This would be the best anime game ever. Ever, period. The best anime game ever.
Oh my god!
Be creative, stay true to the manga, also take things from the anime, use the original OST, of course use the original OST, give us interactions with NPCs, monsters, and with the world itself. There needs to be accessible areas, a shit ton of new areas where they maybe are connected to other parts of the story, where you have to go back, you have to travel back, you have to do side quests here and side quests there. Give us dungeons. You could also do the movie villains of One Piece. You could also add them in maybe some hidden areas when you access those, and then you're in this boss battle against that movie villain. Hey, remember that? Imagine you are at Sky Island and then you find a passway with your ship, you're with the Sunny maybe there, and you go through this new passway which wasn't there in the first round, because now the time skip 2 years later you can go through there, but now you see, hey, wait a second, something's different there, and then there's Shiki, and then there are huge islands appearing out of nowhere, and then there's Shiki and you have to beat Shiki. You could do these kind of things, but also leave us the choice. You do not have to go there, you can go. These movie type villains, you do not have to do that, you can do it. If you don't want to do it, you do not have to. You could literally go crazy, but a very important factor is we need to have fans true to the manga and true to Eiichiro Oda's work at this project. Not some money-hungry sluts, not some money-hungry bitches who just want to, hey, you know what, press this thing out, I don't care if it is good or not, I want money. I want to do false advertisement so I can get the money out of people, and then I'm good to go, because I want money and I like money.
But I like money, that's my whole thing. Ah, well, see, therein lies the problem. That is also my thing.
No.
Oh no!
You do it right for the fans, and trust me, you have a game and a fan base for years to come. For years to come. So Namco Bandai, I don't know how you have licensed the IP for One Piece games. Maybe you have to put a game out every 2 years. You could do an open world project like this under the surface. So what I mean with this, bring out some other One Piece games from other studios. You have the money, you have the resources, I'm sure about it, I'm certain about it. And then you do this project secretly with a new studio who understands open world games and RPG elements and loves the detail, loves putting in a lot of detail. And they are true fans to One Piece, and they do this game. So please, Namco Bandai, you guys, you have to do it right, please do it right. If not for all, you could sign me on and I could watch over this thing, and I could see how the boys and the girls are doing, and I could add new things into this, and I could also see, hey, if this is going the right direction or not. Trust me on this. Just contact me. I mean, you could add literally add everything. Add the interaction with Laboon, add Crocus into it, and the funny interaction between him and Sanji and how they were looking at each other. At the Davy backfight games against Foxy and his crew, those were one of the most hilarious things in all of anime. It was like, man, the fight with Zoro and Sanji and how they were continuously fighting each other, that was perfection. It was funny as shit. You could even use the Davy backfights in an online multiplayer thing. You could also do online multiplayer for the entire map of that One Piece game, and then it would be like, hey you guys, you wanna know what? You could do your own crew into this, and you can play in your own crew, and you can interact with other online gamers in different servers where each server has maybe 100-150 players in it, and then it's like, hey, okay, here, this is your crew, this is you have this devil fruit ability, you can choose this devil fruit ability, or you can just be Haki based, you can be a pirate, you can be a marine, choose your thing. And in the online multiplayer verse, you are also leveling up continuously. And now back to myself on the wall. It's your turn again, so I won't bump it anymore. Now it's your turn. Tell me what you think of a good way a One Piece game should be or should work out, and what would be the best solution, the best option, or what is your ideal One Piece game? Is it also an open world type of game, or do you have more Dragon Ball Z Fighters type of game in mind? So write it down below, leave a like, leave a comment, I would appreciate it a lot, and let's take it up a notch and see you guys next time. Laugh Tail out.